I want to introduce Amit Musaei, a tour guide in Israel and a survivor of the Supernova Music Festival massacre. As fate would have it, we have a mutual friend, and Amit actually reached out to me last week and asked to share the story, asked to share his story and his experience. And I was really taken by that gesture. And I want to thank Amit for his time and even more so for his courage. I don't think any of us can imagine having to share that story, let alone what he went through. And as we sort of briefly spoke before the Zoom meeting, us outside of Israel, as Rabbi Rubin said a few weeks ago in Shul, we are on the front lines of a war. And I would further that by saying that it's a war of truth and a war of facts. And we see day after day or minute after minute a constant perversion of truth to the extent that boggle the mind, and we can't even fathom how the truth has been distorted. I mean, just blatant lies to the point where we've seen people accuse Israel actually of perpetrating the attacks against its own people. I mean, disgust that just knows no bounds. And I think that the way that we arm ourselves for such a war is through truth and fact. And again, I would like to just show Amit our love, our support, and our solidarity with those in Israel. And again, thank you, Amit, for your time and for your courage.
Okay, shalom everybody. Good evening from Israel. Thank you very much for inviting me on this session, Adam, and thank you for all of you to show up. And it's really appreciate to see your faces, but I understand if you cannot turn on your camera. Just quickly about myself, I'm 40 years old, I'm married, plus 3 daughters. I have a 10 years old, 8 years old, and 5 years old. Now it's easier because last Saturday we've just celebrated to my middle one. So we've passed all the birthdays. All of them have been born on September, October, and November. I'm working as a professional tour guide here in Israel. I'm guiding educational tours, families, and just adult group tours to Israel. During COVID, I've done some virtual tours using more or less the same method that I'm going to use today to tell my story. I'd present for you, the presentation would start with a quick briefing about Gaza. I'm going to do it very quickly, then I'll share some views from the Gaza envelope where the attack have taken part. And then I will focus on my personal surviving story. I will end up with the unfortunate story of my friends. The reason that I'm doing those presentation, it's not the first time. I've started giving interviews on the very first days after what happened, the terror attack. I've been on CNN, CBS, and other networks, and then I've decided to take the advantage of the request for people to hear my story and to see if I can gain some donations for my friends' orphans. And this I will share with you as well. So I've already put the link on the chat, but don't go there yet, as I will talk about it a bit later. So Adam, just give me a nod if it's okay to start my presentation now. All right. So I'm gonna show screen. The presentation by like you would not see anything that is graphically hard to see. I've made sure to not show anything like that. The only thing, the maximum that you would experience is a short video that's showing me running away from the missile attack. That's the only thing. So that's the only trigger alert that I have to give you. All right. So by now you should see my screen. Adam, if you can give me a nod that you can see my screen shared.
Yeah, all
right,
good.
Awesome. So on the right corner, and if you cannot see that, so you can move the gallery of the video participants. You can actually minimize it. It's not very important, and not even my own video. But on the right corner, you see a map of Israel. And we are also looking on a satellite view of Israel. So I'm just going to highlight the part that we're going to focus, which is Gaza. So on the map on the right corner, it's right here. I'm using my mouse now to point on Gaza. And Gaza is located on the western end of Israel, on the southwestern end of Israel. And Gaza is bordered both by Israel, but also by Egypt. And this is a fact Adam have made sure he made sure to you to understand that this war is also a war of facts and a war of truth. So many are not even giving any importance that Gaza is actually bordered with Egypt. So I will dive in. For those who never been to Israel, it's a small state, 8,500 square miles in size. Actually, you're Canadian, so I can use kilometers. 22,000 square kilometers. That's the size of Israel. The Gaza Strip is only 365 square kilometers. The population of Gaza is 2.1 million, according to the authorities in Gaza, but this number is a number that we don't have any certainty of. The Gaza Strip, I'm going to highlight it for you now. The Gaza Strip is a territory that was occupied by Egypt during the Independence War. Originally, if you know what is the partition plan, it's a plan that was made to share the territory of the land of Israel, what used to be called Palestine, between Jews and Arabs. And then I'm looking to see, I'm sorry, I don't find a tool that allows me to annotate on the screen. I think I don't have this permission, Adam. It's not very important, but if you can permit me to annotate the screen, that would be awesome. If not, that's fine. I'll handle it without it. So the Gaza Strip, I'm just going to use the mouse. That's the northern end of the Gaza Strip.
You should have it now.
Okay, thank you. So I'll do a quick stop share and then a reshare. No, I can't find it. Never mind. So this is the northern end of the Gaza Strip. The closest locality is there are a few kibbutzim over there. One of them is Zikim, one of them is Netiva Asara, and the closest city is Ashkelon. Ashkelon is less than 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers from the northern end of the Gaza Strip. Then the longest part of the border with Israel, it's the eastern end of Gaza, from this corner here all the way down to the dashed line, where it's widening a bit, and until it meets with the Egyptian border, which is down here. So this is the border with Egypt. It's on the coastal plain, so part of the territory are sandy dunes that had been occupied by agriculture, but also by a highly dense populated built area, specifically in the city of Gaza. This is the city of Gaza down here. It's in the middle of the strip. The Gaza Strip, as I've mentioned, was occupied by Egypt between 1948 and 1967. Back then, there were no resistance to the Egyptian occupation. Since 1967, the Gaza Strip was liberated by Israel, and there was a military rule over Gaza, quite similar to what's happening still in the West Bank, or at least parts of it. Israel have decided to completely withdraw from Gaza and to give it to the Palestinian Authority to have full control of it. Although the Palestinian authorities had already some control over most of Gaza since the Oslo Accords of '94. At 2005, Israel completely withdrew its very few settlements that were on the strip. And what happened immediately after Israel complete withdrawal is the coup of Hamas, which is recognized by the United Nations terrorist organization. Hamas took over Gaza, kicked out the Palestinian Authority, which Israel signed a treaty with. And since then, there is a terrorist organization controlling this territory. And since 2005, Hamas is using any possible tools they have to terrorize the localities around it. So just next to the Gaza Strip, we have the Gaza envelope. In Hebrew, it's Otef Aza. The most literal translation is Gaza envelope. Nowadays, we call it the Israel envelope, as the Gaza envelope is actually protecting kind of Israel. They take all the hits. And we start to see from the Gaza Strip in early to the very early first decade of this millennium, we see the Hamas is launching rockets and mortar shells towards the localities surrounding the Gaza Strip, but with time they develop more longer range missiles, mostly because they received the technology and actually the missiles from Iran. And they shoot it towards almost every place in Israel. They have capability to shoot rockets, but mostly it's the distance of around 70 kilometers, what is considered the Gaza envelope, and it's almost everything that is in the view right now. In this territory, we have a lot of agriculture by the kibbutzim that are surrounding the Gaza Strip, but also a few moshavim. They are basically rural populations, and there are smaller cities also in the Gaza envelope. One of them is Netivot, one of them is Ofakim, and the other one is Sderot, which is around this area where I'm pointing right now. In the Gaza envelope, we have approximately population of 70,000 living in almost 60 different communities. This territory was first settled even before the establishment of the State of Israel in the early 1940s, allowing more Jewish immigrants eventually to come and settle this territory, which is on the edge of the desert, but it's lush enough to accommodate agriculture, and specifically field agriculture, for example, wheat. I'm going to share with you a few views of the territory. The Gaza Strip, as I've said, it's quite lush, so the rainfall here is not very dramatic. It's actually the minimum amount of rainfall here that allows the wheat to grow, and this is what they exploit the land for the most, both in the Israeli side, the Gaza envelope, but actually in the Gaza Strip, the Palestinians are using the same thing. When you see it's green, it means this picture was taken in the winter. I'm moving to another view for you to see how we Israelis are using any drop of water, either rainfall or irrigation that we've developed to plant almost anything you can think of. But naturally, and before the arrival of Israelis here, this area was not used at all. It was basically a dusty area with no use. You can see that some of the fields had been harvested. Those are the views that I've had experienced and seen on October 7th, which I'll move towards that story very soon. I'd like to share with you one more view. This is from the only water stream that runs in the Gaza envelope. It is called Habesor. And even though it's a stream of water, it's not functioning year long, so it's due to flash floods, but still you can see how green it is. It's right here in the center of the view, and obviously the water and the minerals it supplies to the land are allowing more agriculture. Um, now I'm shifting to the place where the music festival I had attended took part. I'll move a bit away from zoom out. We can see the dash line here. This is the border between Israel and Gaza. There are few obstacles that would not allow Palestinians to cross the border. Besides of a fence, there is also a quite a massive ditch, and also there are a lot of electronic surveillance over the fence, and besides typical military patrolling that will take part here every, I don't know what's the how often, but still there is a patrol road. Maybe you can even see it here on the view. Anyway, the festival took part in territory that was it used to be like part of this dusty area, but became a reserve by the JNF. So it's very flat, as you saw in the earlier views, and there is a forest of a few eucalyptus trees that had been planted by JNF. If you ever donated the JNF to plant a tree, there is a chance your tree is here. So the music festival took part on the October 6th on a Friday, and proceeded into the morning of October 7th. I left home. Home for me is Holon. Okay, now we're viewing north. My home is in the Tel Aviv district. So I live around here. This is Tel Aviv, this is Holon, and it's like an hour, 10 minutes drive, almost 80, 90 kilometers away from my home, uh, where the music festival took part. You can see that the access to the music festival is actually from a road. It's an asphalt road, road number 232, if anyone is interested to check in maps later. The red line is the route that would lead you into the festival perimeter. So you have to go and drive some gravel, paved routes, very easy to drive them. And there would be a lot of security and a lot of policing in this area. I'm moving for you, and just another 360 view for you to see more or less where the festival took part. Flat territory, although when I attended it was not as green as you see now. By the way, the red flowers here is one of the reasons that Israelis are withdrew to this area during the months of February, early March, where the anemones flowers are blooming. There is a huge festival in the Gaza envelope, and mass amount of Israelis are going mostly on the weekends to see those flowers that yield every year. So that's more or less the festival territory. You can see the eucalyptus trees, you can see the flat area, and now I'll move to show you a video. So I'm going to play a video now. The video, I'm not going to talk over the video. The sound, I've adjusted it to the middle. So if it's too low for you, please adjust the volume. If it's too loud, again, adjust the volume. I cannot promise you would like the music. It's electronic music. That's my favorite style. I've been in the festival. I've arrived there around 1:30 a.m. I've parked my vehicle under a tree in the parking lot. It's an important detail. I've been there with 3 of my friends. All are in my age, 40 years old. The main difference between me and my friends, first, I was driving. Second, they have no family. So I'm married +3, and they are not yet married. So that is, we've arrived. We've put up a tent. There is a camping area over there, and then we went to dance and to enjoy the festival. and the music. What I'm showing you now is a video that I took at about 6:28 a.m. I'm not going to show the full video. Maybe just a bit of the beginning on mute so you can see the festival area. But then I want to forward it to about 3 minutes through the video when it's already 6:30 a.m. So what you're going to see is some of the people dancing, enjoying, celebrating. The sun is not yet up. Sunrise was about to happen at 6:30, 6:30 something, and this is already October 7th, Shabbat morning. You will see mostly youth in this festival. I was one of the older people that attended, but I love this music and I'm going for festivals for more than 20 years now. So I'll forward the video and I will play the sound now, so I'll be quiet. עזה, עזה, עזה. עזה, 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 עזה. עזה, אחי. עזה, יירוטים, אחי. יש יירוטים. וואו, מלחמה. Just quickly to explain what you've just saw, people dancing and then the music stops. So it happens that music stop on a festival. Sometimes it's a technical malfunction, but here it came together with crackling sound. We hear booms at the background. I don't know if you could hear that. For me, the first thought was fireworks, but there is nothing for fireworks to do in the time when the sun is almost up. And then I saw the explosions in the air. I know how interceptions of Iron Dome looks like, and you probably heard me also shouting Gaza, 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 which means Gaza, 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 and then I also shouted it's war. Not that I knew it's going to be a war, but this is how it felt like anyway. Maybe even you saw a friend of mine wearing a cap and blue sunglasses. This is Alon Milner, one of my best friends. He's going with me to those festivals for more than 20 years now. And what happened in the video, you see the video is going down to the ground. So the security in the festival, they started to tell us there are interceptions of Iron Dome. We are under attack. Lie on the ground, cover your head, which is what you're supposed to do when missiles are launched against you. Myself, like I'm living in Holon, I live quite far from the Gaza Strip. Anytime there was a missile attack against Israel, and that happens more than almost 20 years now, since 2005, if I'm not wrong, maybe 8. We know what to do. We have to go to a security area. In my apartment building, there is no shelter. There is a bomb shelter, but it's too far. It's on the lowest level, and we only have 1.5 minutes to escape. So we go to one level below, and we hide in the staircase. But what you should do when you're in the open land, when there is no shelter, there is no building, there is no wall to hide behind, you lie on the ground and you cover your head, and you can only pray, basically. Because if a missile will hit, it would also explode, and it will you will be heated by even smaller pieces of metal or smaller explosions that are within the missile. So this is what you saw in the video. I will play the video all the way to its end, where you will see me still on the ground. You will see me next to my friend. We are talking and we try to realize what to do. And then you will see a young lady that is very confused. And it's funny because she said she's looking for a friend, and then she said that she needs to pee. So we tell her, just pee, but lie on the ground, cover your head. It doesn't matter what you do and how you pee right now. Just don't take care of yourself, protect your life. So I'll play the video all the way to the end.
אתה מבונן עליי, אחי, יהיה בסדר. יהיה בסדר, אחי, הכל בסדר. מה לא? תשכבי. תשכבי, 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 תשכבי.
אני בורח לי פיפי.
בסדר, תעשי.
אל תגידו לי סתם.
תשכבי על הרצפה. תשכבי על הרצפה, תגונני על הראש.
לא, באמת.
אנחנו איתך, הכל טוב. תשכבי על הרצפה,
אני
אחות.
מפחדת רגע.
תשכבי על הרצפה.
אני באמת מפחדת.
שימי ידיים על הראש.
אני בהתקף לב נראה לי.
אז לא, הכל טוב, תעזבי את הטלפון.
אני צריכה למצוא את חברה שלי, אני לבד פה כבר שעתיים.
בואי. שימי ראש על הרצפה.
אני מפחדת, תקשיב.
אין מה לפחד, תרגי. תרגי, הכל טוב.
אימא'לה.
בוא. מה זה יעזור לי העץ, אחי? לא יודע. העץ לא...
זה הטבע השומר.
איזה טבע שומר? בוא נעוף מפה.
עמית, לא לפה, עמית.
Just to explain what happened next, the security and police, they tell us to get up on our legs and start to evacuate the perimeter of the festival. The festival was surrounded with fences. There were a lot of security. There were emergency exits. And we don't know where to go. So we're trying to find a place to hide by, as we are regular to it already, but we know that we need to hide next to a wall, next to something that at least can protect us in case of a missile hit. So we went and hid it by a food truck, but then they still shouting at us, evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. We ran to our tent, which we've put earlier that night. And the next thing that happened, me and Alon, my friend, we find two other friends that came with me in my car, Osher and Alon Kazar. We have two Alon in this story, two people named the same first name. We meet them. They naturally were withdrawn to our camping place, and then we had to take a decision what to do next. I've suggested to escape, like running away, but there is no place to run for. You can run to the trees, you can run to the open fields, but this would not protect you from missiles. Then I told them, let's go to the car. Just before I've done that, I'm calling my friend that is not with us, but on its way. His name is Adir. He came, he was supposed to arrive in the morning, not like us earlier that night, but he was supposed to come in the morning. Adir and his wife Shiraz, they are married for almost 12 years. They have two daughters in the same ages of my own daughters. And another person in the car with them is Shiraz's friend, Celine. Maybe I can share a picture. No, I'll do it later. So I'm calling Adir and I want to make sure that he's secure. I know that he's almost there. He's supposed to be on the festival any minute. And he told me that he found a bomb shelter. Is hiding it, and I told him, okay, just protect your wife, and I'm hanging up the phone while I'm listening in the background, and I hear how panicked is his wife, Shiraz. And then we go to the vehicle. Now, I told you that I parked my car under a tree, so it was very easy to locate the car. What was not easy, I wanted to show you how the parking lot, the walk looks like. So it just happened that I recorded some of the happenings of that night.
לזונות. תראה, 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 תראה!
Everything you see in the sky, everything that looks like narrow cloud, it's not a cloud. That's the smoke of the engines of either the rockets or the Iron Dome interceptors.
תראה! הכי רחוק ממך בעולם, בואי. זה רחוק שנות אור. זה רחוק 1000 שנות אור. לא נפחד! בוא נמתין. אלון צריך לברוח לפה, אלון. שואו! אחי, רשישים יכולים ליפול עלינו. לא יודע מה לעשות, בוא לאוטו. איפה? וגם אחי, תוציא את האוטו ומה... לזונות.
For those who understand Hebrew, apologies, I'm cursing at the beginning of the video. But I'm cursing Gaza, so I guess it's okay. So we go to the vehicle, we find it quite easy because I parked under the car. I have a 2020 model. It's a Subaru Crosstrek. It's a new vehicle. I'm trying to open the car, but it's not working. My remote is not active. So I had to open it with my mechanical key. And I opened the car. I try to start it, but it does not start because my remote is not working. If the remote is not working, there is no battery. The car would refuse to start. So I've done a few attempts, but anyway, it caused a delay of almost 10 minutes. Just to put you on the timeline, the attack began at 6:30 a.m., the first missiles, and then the call to my friend Adir was around 6:45 at the car. It's almost 7. And after a few attempts and a lot of fear also, I've managed to start the car. It suddenly ignited. Sorry for the pauses from time to time. The car had started, and I told my friends, jump in, let's go. They told me that I'm not in a situation to drive, like I'm not mentally able to drive. I told them I'm very able. I want to go to my family. Let's hit the road. We've entered the car, and I will share with you now our escape route from the festival. So from the festival territory, the parking lot is approximately here on the left blue pin, and the drive is supposed to go on the red line. Should not take more than maybe 10 minutes maximum, but it was all packed and people are running, so I had to do a tiny detour that caused me to drive off-road to this white line here, then joining the red line, and then we drive slowly, we drive safely as much as possible. I drive, I mean, and my friends are with me. By the way, we've left all our camping gear behind and some other, I don't know, items. Then towards the intersection with the asphalt road that will bring us home, there was a huge traffic jam. Luckily enough, I have a four-wheel drive, so I bypassed by driving again off-road, and this decision most likely had saved my life. I don't know how much of the media that was shared you consumed. I can only show you on this Zoom session only media that I have rights for, but there is a very, very famous drone image showing this intersection with tons of burnt cars. So those are the cars that I basically bypassed. It's 700 meters drive. It took us, I think, like more than 10 minutes. And then we are on the road. We want to turn back home, which is going northwest, this direction here. Gaza is right here, but the police here told us that we cannot, the road is blocked and we should drive this way. They didn't tell us, it was just blocked, so nothing we could do about it. Just to put us again on the time frame, it's about 7:15 now. As we start our escape from missiles, we drive what I've marked on yellow. We've passed a kibbutz Re'im, and then I take the first turn that takes me northeast. Why? Because I want to go away from Gaza. So I don't have a compass, although I'm a tour guide. I'm just going with my senses. I see the sun is rising. I know it's on the northeast, and I'm leaving Gaza behind me. You see the dashed line? This is Gaza. So I'm going on the direct opposite side. I'm taking this road, driving through those wheat fields, but here two things have happened in this area. First, we've made a phone call to Adir, but he's not answering, so we called his wife Shiraz. Shiraz is telling us a very short sentence and hanged up. She said, I'm at Mefalsim, that's a location's name, and there are yeriyot. Yeriyot could be translated to shootings. In Hebrew, we call even missile launches against us as yeriyot. So we know that there is a missile attack, but she meant a different kind of shooting. She meant guns shooting. But we didn't realize that back then. The next thing that happened, somewhere over here between us and somewhere on those wheat fields, those harvested fields, after we hanged up, the call was hanged, we see a white GMC Savannah. It's kind of a truck, closed truck. And there was something very weird about it because it had no windows. All the windows were broken. I'm driving quite slow. I'm doing maybe 80 kilometers per hour. Very easy. It's a road that you can definitely drive 100 or 120. But what I see besides of the broken window GMC Savannah, it's on the side of the road. And my friend who sat behind, Alon Milner, you saw him on the video, he said, have you seen the body? And I didn't see it, but later we learned that there was a body in that car. Someone was driving it and unfortunately was murdered. On the aftermath, on our calculation of time, that the car did not start on time may have saved us from a similar fortune of that GMC Savannah, because it also left the festival. As much as we've learned from stuff that we read, and I'm trying to gather as much information as possible of what happened to me, not just for sharing, but it helps to also complete the story and to overcome it. So I'll go back to the screen sharing. I'm coming to the closure of my own story. So we drive on this yellow line from the festival territory to an intersection, which this drive took us 15 minutes, 13 kilometers. We've arrived to this intersection. In this intersection, there is a facility that I was familiar with because I know this territory. We have here 3 buildings. This is the shade of a gas station. The bigger one here is a coffee place called Aroma. If you've been to Israel, most likely you've went to Aroma. So it's a coffee place. Let's just say it's a restaurant. And over here we have a bomb shelter, a migunit, a bomb shelter that was situated there for those missile attacks that are reoccurring, and specifically in the Gaza envelope. So every populated area, next to every bus station, you will find a bomb shelter. It's made from reinforced concrete. Usually there is a door and a window that you can close, but not every one of them has. This one could contain possibly 30 to 40 people. I'm arriving here, I see a building. It's the first building that I see. I stop the car, and my friends were a bit mad of me. Why do I stop? Why do I not proceeding? But I say, there is a shelter here, let's use it. So I've stopped the car. We get off the car and we start to run because the missiles are keep on going all this entire time. While I'm sharing the story with you, please take in mind missiles and explosions and a lot of smoke, and it's scary. It's surreal even. We've parked here where the yellow line stops. We run towards this corner of this building. This is the restaurant. And people and the first thing we hear are bullet hits of a heavy machine gun. So it's the first time we hear actual gun shootings. And as we arrive here, people that were already ducking down here, lying on the ground, covering their head, told us that there is a terrorist here. So now our fear is double, not just for missiles, but someone who can come with a gun or with even a knife and stab us or kill us. This was the most frightening moment for myself, as I was realizing that easily someone can come from behind a car, from behind the corner of a building, and shoot me and kill me, and that's it, I'm done. I told my friends here that they should, if they will survive this, they should send my love to my family, to my wife and daughters. By the way, I forgot my phone on the car on the escape. I'm going to show you a few pictures from the security cameras I've got from Aroma. So this is the security camera that shows us the bomb shelter here. So you can see some people around it. The two main type of people that were here, party goers like myself, and the people that you see on the green or blue shirts, they are they came to do some bicycle riding. And there are obviously some other citizens that just came for getting gas. The time now is 7:30-ish. This is the back door of Aroma, which leads to the kitchen. And most of the time we were hiding within that kitchen as the bomb shelter was occupied. There was one policeman here with a pistol. One of the bicycle riders, he had also a gun, he was armed. And that's it. That was the entire protection that we had as we are hiding from missiles, but also from a possible terrorist. With time, we learned that the terrorist is not there, so there was a bit of more relaxed, but still we were supposed to hide from the missiles. So we've entered the kitchen. This is Aroma's kitchen, the restaurant. And you see people are just sitting on the ground, standing up. This place would definitely not protect us from a missile hit, but what else can you do? I'm standing over there. Alon, my friend, is standing over there. And we've spent here something like 1.5 or 2 hours. This is the outdoors again. This is the bomb shelter. This is how the bomb shelter looks like. You see, it has an iron door, even a window you can see here in the corner. But a similar one could come without a door, and I will talk about the other type soon. So we've spent here 1.5, almost 2 hours, and this was obviously stressing. Some people were panicked, some people were crying, some people were just what to do next. But then we start to get some videos. So videos that had been made by Hamas or by Israeli civilians, and they were uploading it to the social media. I think it was for Telegram. I was not with my phone. I've communicated with my wife through my friend's phone. I told her that I'm safe, but she didn't even understand what I'm talking about because she was under sirens in home. All the missiles that were shot from Gaza, they not all of them are falling next to us. They go to the Tel Aviv district. So videos are coming in to people in the kitchen over there, and I requested not to show and not to share and not to talk about all the knowledge that is now coming in, as people are panicked. But unfortunately, I was exposed to one of the videos, and that video was showing a pickup truck with a Hamas terrorist on it, and they have a heavy machine gun, and they've just arrived to one of the small towns in the Gaza envelope. I think it was to Sderot. We know that Sderot was hit very hard. They took over the police station over there. But now we are evident for a terrorist invasion. We are evident for people that are shooting just freely on anyone they see. And there is nothing to protect us because we see no army. We start to see army. We saw one army man, one IDF soldier. He was very confused. I don't know how he arrived there. He was obviously after a battle. He escaped the battle, or he faced terrorists. We don't know what happened, but we know that he faced terrorists because he had a bullet hit. So the behind his knee, there was a pierce of a bullet and a lot of blood. And there was a paramedic, happened to be a paramedic over there that gave him some first aid. Towards almost 2 hours over there, we start to see a group of soldiers. And the soldiers are telling us that it's not safe to stay there and we should leave. And there is no safe place, but the safest route is to proceed to Tseelim, which is further southeast this time, but it's further from Gaza. So I will share with you again my screen just to show you the map. So from here, after being 2 hours in the kitchen with panicked people, we drive again like 13 kilometers, 8 miles on the purple line. We pass by Kibbutz Urim, which was not invaded by terrorists, to differ from other kibbutzim in the area. And again, it's a beautiful drive. What can I tell you? Israel is beautiful, but I didn't even pay attention to the sides of the road. I was focused on the road, and I told my friends, "You look to the sides. If you see something suspicious, let me know immediately, because now we know that terrorists can come and kill us." Anyway, we drive this road. We cross the Besor stream, which I showed you earlier. We take this turn. By the way, I forgot to mention, some parts of the road were pierced with missile hits. So there were like pit holes in the road, but massive ones. We had to bypass. We arrive here, we start to see finally some Israeli police, some Israeli army troopers, and they tell us, go into the kibbutz. We arrive to the kibbutz. Kibbutz Tseelim was welcoming us in the dining hall. They made sure that we are relaxed. They gave us water, coffee, and later also food. They also took care of people who were injured that arrived there. And I'm worrying for my friends now. I now have the capacity and the time to worry not just for myself. Okay, I know that I'm safe. I'm worrying to my friends, Adir, Shiraz, and Celine. Just to finish up my own story, in the kibbutz Tseelim, we found refugee. We've been there, I think, something like 3 or 4 hours from maybe 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. until 3:30 or 4 p.m. The kibbutz security told us that now there is a path that we can take and drive safely home, which was still very panicking because now I don't know who to trust anymore. The road has a lot of Bedouins, which are they are Israelis, but some of them can be hostile to Israel, even though they are citizens. So I was afraid, but I took the chance anyway. And I drove home because I knew that my family is waiting for me, arriving home. Sirens again in my home in Holon. I take my wife and my daughters and we drive to my sister-in-law, which is further north from Holon, where sirens had not occurred, not at least as much as in where I live. And I was just waiting to see what is happening with my friends who gone missing. They don't pick up the phone and they are declared missing like many others that were in the festival or on the way to the festival, but also in the localities in the Gaza envelope. So with your permission, I'll take just maybe 5 more minutes to share the story of my friends Adir, Shiraz, and Celine. Adir, Shiraz, and Celine. Adir is a friend that I know from high school. This is Adir here on the left. I know him since high school. We've become very good friends in the recent 20 years now, and then we've built life together. We are living as neighbors. His home is a minute walk from me. He was married to Shiraz. I think it was 12 years ago when they got married. We've just celebrated their wedding anniversary without them. So they were married, and they have two daughters. Goshen, she's 10 years old, and Gili, she's 8 years old. They are in the exact ages of my older daughters. I have 3. And we've built our life together. We've done everything together. They go to the same school, to the same classes, our daughters. We take all of our vacations together. We go abroad together. We do everything together. Everything you can think about, it's together. We almost live like one family, just in separate apartments. Celine is Shiraz's colleague, and they became good friends. And Celine was always attending any party that we went together, festival that we went together. So this was kind of a crew that go to the, hanging out together. Celine was married almost a year ago, and no, maybe more than a year ago, to Ido, and she gave birth to Eli. On October 7th, Eli was already 6 months old. Celine was celebrating the end of her maternity leave. That was the reason she wanted to come to the festival. And they were en route to the festival. They were closer than us even to the Gaza Strip. The distance from where they had arrived and were hiding in a bomb shelter. Now you can see it's a concrete structure, but there is no door. There is only an opening. You can hide behind the wall, and this will secure you in case of a missile fall next to the location. They've arrived here. The distance is like 1 mile from the Gaza border. Their hiding place was here. So under this tree, you will find this bomb shelter. They've parked their car, and they were hiding there. This is where Shiraz was at when she told us we are at Mefalsim. There are shootings, as I've explained earlier. I want to show you a few pictures from how Adir's car was found. There is a motorcycle behind. The motorcycle is from Gaza. It's the terrorist that was. This is Adir's vehicle. That's the motorcycle I was talking about. And the bomb shelter is just behind the photographer. Photographer is Celine's husband. He went to look for her, to find her. But she also called him and told him that she's in Mefalsim. She told him that she see Israeli army, but unfortunately those were the Hamas terrorists dressed like Israeli soldiers. So that's just the car. I can skip the video. I don't want to show you too much. So while they were hiding in a bomb shelter, there were 2 other people that were with them. One of them is the one that gave us the story of what happened there. He survived, fortunately enough. His name is Raz. As they were hiding, my is my best friend, Adir. He went out maybe to see, I don't know exactly, like the evidence, the one that survived, he gave the full story. I'm not able to access it. I don't want to access it. It's too early for me to learn the entire details. So I'm going to share with you what I know, but not in the full detail that I most likely can learn and share. Adir went out of the bomb shelter. He was killed from a blank spot, blank position, and died on the spot. Then the terrorist throw grenades into the bomb shelter. Now it's a closed area. It will just make the explosion even higher. And that killed Shiraz on the spot, and it injured Celine and the other person that was there. The survivor, his name is Raz, he hid under the Shiraz's body, and I think he played dead, I don't know. Although he was also very severely injured, he went out and he made it to the kibbutz Mefalsim, which they were on the entrance of. And he knocked on the door of a person, opened the door for him. You see him fainted, he was out. And the next thing he remembers is his experience in the hospital, where he shared the story. He took the friends and family found all the info. They found this evidence even before the police, and we've learned the story earlier than anyone else. We've kept it among a small group of people. Not even the parents of Adir and Shiraz knew about it until Adir's body was identified 5 days later, and Shiraz's body was identified almost a week plus 2 days after, and on the same day also Celine. The memorial of the 30 days was 2 weeks ago, and I don't want to take you through everything that I've experienced and how I've processed all the loss and all of that. I'm still there, I'm still traumatized, and I don't want to talk about that. I just want to say that to see the grave of your best friends, the family that you've planned to be with all of your lives, we had dreams for the future. You see a grave, and I say to everyone, like, for me, if that grave just had their names, it would be much easier than to see their grave with two big hearts on the top. So the matzeva of the grave, the part that goes up, is two hearts, and it says Abba, Ima. So them being parents of two girls that are my daughter's best friends is it's the hardest fact. And this is why I've started to share the story with people, mostly people abroad, to see if anyone would like to help them. The only thing that I can do for them right now, I cannot be their family. They have uncles that want them to be with them, and I respect that. But if that was not an option, like, they were with me, they were in my home now, but they have family that wants them, and that's the most natural thing, I guess. But I want to promise their financial future. I want to promise a future like their parents have planned for them, and for that I've not just myself, I cannot take the full credit, but me and my friends, we've started the GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe is now you can see it. This is a picture from 2021. Adir, Shiraz, and their daughters Goshen and Gili. Here they are younger than what they are right now, but the best family picture that I own. And the link for this GoFundMe is already on the chat. If anyone is interested, we can also, let me see if I can do that. There is a QR code now, so if you wanna, if you're not using your phone to watch the Zoom, so you can scan the QR code and it's easier. And the other option is use the link that I've shared on the chat. Kindly ignore the target that we put on this GoFundMe. There is no target. We didn't know how to do it, so we've put a target. But as much as we can give them. I've calculated how much support they would receive, and it's basically what we've so far done. It's nothing. It's nothing. And I know some of you would ask, maybe the government is supporting. Yes, the government will definitely give a certain support, but this would be something minimum, just to hold them. And I don't want that. I want them to go to the best school. I want them to go to the best universities. I want them to have a full and the happiest possible life being parentless children. So I hope everybody had a chance to scan it. I will just drop it again in the chat. And I don't know if people wrote questions, but just a second, I want to share it in the chat. The link is, no, sorry. I'll put the link again in the chat. If anyone would like to ask me anything, unfortunately, we don't have one for Celine yet. We don't have one. Keep that thought, please. If you will send me an email, Adam, is that okay that I will share my email here?
Yeah,
on the
of
chat?
course. Yeah, definitely.
So I'll put my email. We're building something for Celine. Unfortunately, me and Celine are not that close. But I'm doing everything I can for Ido. At least once a week, I ask him if he needs anything for baby Ellie, which is now more than 7 months already. So that's what I do for them now. But in the near future, they will also have a GoFundMe. So if you will send me an email, I will definitely share with you the GoFundMe for Celine once it will be up. I know that you don't see the link yet for the chat. I'm trying to see how I can share it again. It will be there in a sec. Feel free to ask me questions. If you want to go on a political debate, I don't think that I have something to contribute on that side. I don't think that's also the reason for our meeting here. But if you want to do questions, I'm fine with that. Adam, I'd rather if you can decide who goes first. I see that Toby raised hand. I'll just stay on mute.
Of course. I mean, first of all, I'd like to thank you once again, and there are absolutely no words of comfort to share, so I'm not even going to try to say anything. Save that we just met and we feel like family already, and you should know, the people of Israel should know, those of us outside of Israel stand with you and stand with Israel 110%. So we have a question from Toby Shulman.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to say, well, first of all, I want to thank you for your story. But when you showed pictures, people just seemed very calm sitting there. I could imagine myself, I would have been hysterical. Is this something that Israelis have learned how to manage their lives? Everything has to be calm until you're able to, do what you have to do.
You mean on the pictures when you see them sitting on the ground?
In
the
kitchen? In the restaurant?
Yes. They were not calm. It might seem like it in the picture. First, there is nothing that we could do. So you just sit down and wait to to tell you that it was calm, it was not calm. I don't have a video from there, but there were no screaming or shouting. Yes, Israelis have learned to deal with, unfortunately, those type of situations. I don't think any of the people that were there were in a similar situation before. But there was a lot of cry. There were people that were panicked, people that were confused. After almost an hour being there in the kitchen, two of the people that were there, I was like talking with them in Hebrew, and they told me we don't speak Hebrew. And I'm asking them, what are you tourists? You were in the festival as like tourists, as guests? And yeah, they were from Costa Rica, and they had no idea what is happening. At least us Israelis, we realized there was a missile attack, and later we learned terrorist also. But Costa Ricans standing hiding in a kitchen, no one is giving them any information. They have no idea what is happening. I could only feel sorry for them because, I'm at least Israeli, I know. So I hope this answers your question.
It did. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is a question on the chat. If you want, I can refer to that. Shelly is asking what happened with the security at the festival. So I believe it was almost 20 police officers that were murdered on the festival perimeter while they were trying to protect the attendees. Besides of police, there was also like private security company. I don't have information of what happened to them. I believe that some of them have survived and some had not. The total count that I'm familiar with is over 360 festival attendees that have been murdered. Out of the total, I don't know if they've updated the total, but the number that I know so far is 1,400 total that had been murdered by Hamas ISIS terrorists. The size of the festival. So the perimeter, it's really hard for me to tell. Maybe I can say in square meters.
People,
I believe
though,
it was
for the attendees. People.
the number of attendees.
Yeah.
I think it's something like 3,000, so 3,500 attendees. So more than 10% of the festival attendees have been murdered. And it's just the end result. What happened in between, the fear, the rape, the abuse of bodies. I didn't even talk about it.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Amit, thank you very much for your presentation. Very, very instructive. I just wanted to know, you said that when you started to hear the missiles and the noise all around, you lay down. What about going to the car and leaving? I mean, most of you leaving the place, it was not something that all the persons around should have done to leave as soon as possible? Or what happened? Why didn't they go to the car and leave like you did?
Some did, but they were stuck in a traffic towards the road. That's the first thing. Second, some people were not able to drive. Mentally, they could not drive. Remember, it's a music festival, so people were in a different...
Drunk.
At least drunk. So that affected as well. Some people could not find their friends that drove them there. There was a lot of panic. I was extremely lucky to find all the friends that attended with me.
Thank you.
Right, there is a question in the chat from Judith. How does it feel in Israel now that some hostages have come back? What is the hope for the future? I'm talking only behalf of myself. I'm not representing Israel right now. Maybe for you I am, but on my answers, I want to make sure that. So, although I'm very interested in the news and I'm checking news at least twice or three times a day, and I'm trying to reduce even that because I was not following the news much. It's always making me sad, no, or afraid, because this is what news does to you. I'm being very honest here. I don't find, I can't find the right words without sounding weird, but I'm not really feeling anything personally for the hostages, because of the extreme amount of things that I'm dealing with currently, the trauma, the loss, my own daughter's panic, because we are in war and we have sirens almost every day. Now, not because there is a ceasefire, but it will return. So I didn't find the place in my heart or my mind to be occupied with the situation of the hostages. Obviously, I'm following, I'm trying to learn about their situation as well, but I'm so occupied with what I'm dealing with, so it's hard for me to say how does it feel for me. In Israel, obviously there is joy, it gives hope to people, it gives some relief. Relief is the best word they can use. There is a lot of relief right now among Israelis. Should I move to the next question, Judith? Was that answering your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
With pleasure.
So I actually have a question, Amit.
Yes.
If you don't mind. I'd be curious if you can speak to the care that people were showing to the next person. For instance, in that first video that you showed us, where the rockets began, and there's that girl that had to pee. The way that you spoke to her, tishkevi, like if you have to make a pee-pee, just do it on the ground. Like it was as if it was your sister. And I have a feeling that you didn't even know that person. And I'm just wondering if you could speak to the care that you received and that you witnessed, be it at that first shelter that you came to at the gas station, or really once you came to the kibbutz, and were people, comforting each other, and, because really outside of Israel, the, immediate aftermath that we saw was the entire country coming together to, help each other. And I think that gives us all tremendous support. And I'm just wondering if in those initial hours of utter chaos, if it's something that you received and felt and saw.
Thank you for this question. Made me, first, my entire body is goosebumped right now, because no one asked me about it before, and I've done those talks before. So thank you very much for this question. And I'm also speaking to non-Jews, but I think Jews would understand the most what it is, the togetherness that we are feeling when we are under attack. And all the Jewish world now is under attack because of, I don't have to tell you what is happening. And yes, like, no one will stand with us. No one will stand with us. So what can I do for that girl? She was looking for a friend. She was so confused. I don't know if she was drunk. And That's the only thing I could do for her. But of course, you have to help others. This is part of what we do as Jewish people. We help others. We cherish life. Uh, the kibbutz that we went to, of course, they took care of us because although we were strangers, they show support. We're part of them. We are the same people. We are the same nation. We are all Israelis. We are all Jewish. Even non-Jews, by the way, received help as well. And Alon, my friend, is also here on the meeting, and he writes me in the chat that we coming out of the key of the restaurant, we started to head out to the kibbutz we were where we find refugees. So we took one person with us in the car. He was just running, like he saw the car is moving, and we had him in. His name is Costa, and we still in touch with him because he became part of our life. The general coming together of the nation, the people of Israel, is just amazing because, and by the way, it's not the government that is doing all of that. Almost everything you hear about and see that people are coming together and helping each other and getting the refugees from the Gaza envelope, all the kibbutzim that went through all the Hamas murders and terror. It's citizens helping citizens, and that's the most amazing thing. Just to quickly share about how I've received help. So coming back home a week after the terror, a psychologist, I don't have her name, unfortunately. She opened a safe zone, a healing center for the festival attendees that had survived. And you just go there and it feels so safe, and then they give you everything that you need, basically. Any type of therapy that you can think of was there. I went to get some massages for my body, which was so stressed because of all I went to. But they also give you like psychological therapy and dance therapy and yoga and some other things. And it was just amazing to see how civilians have came together to do that for other strangers. And so for myself now, I'm unemployed, and I really want to volunteer. This is what it makes you like. I want to volunteer. Technically, I can't. I actually, since today, I can because my daughters went fully to school, and so far there was maybe a day in the week they went to school, and the other days they're at home. But now they went back to school, so I'm more free, and most likely I will join some initiative, even just to entertain people. Would be something to do. So I hope this answers your question, Adam.
Thank you. And we have one more, and I guess perhaps we will end with Hi's question. Hi.
My question is, with respect to the trauma, particularly of the children who have just been released and will be released. As you may know, my daughter is in Jerusalem. She's a clinical psychologist who deals with this every day. And I'd like to hear your thoughts of how this is, how they're coping with this terrible, terrible situation.
You mean the hostages that have been released?
Yes, the children of the hostages.
I don't know the answer to this question. As I mentioned earlier, I'm less occupied with the happenings of the hostages, so I don't have the answer for that. My advice is to try follow some Israeli news coverage or media. Most likely in the upcoming days, they will start interviewing the hostages. So and also share about what's the process of the release and how they've been. They are in the first steps in Israel they've made were in hospitals to meet therapists, psychologists, and also doctors. So that's the best answer I can give you. I will share with you also that I've invited Adir's brother. Shoval is here and he's on the chat if you want to say something to him or his family. Adam, there are two other questions on the chat. If you want, I can try to address them quickly.
Sure.
It's up to you.
Yes.
There is a question from Philip about the Red Cross, if it's checked the welfare of all hostages. As much as I know, no, they had not. The other question: how supportive are you on a payback? October 7th. Okay, there is a question here about a payback. Obviously, I'm supporting a payback. Like many other people in Israelis, which are humans, we don't want to see any civilians being killed. Unfortunately, Hamas, as you most likely know, is hiding behind civilians, and that's the reason that people lose life on the side of Gaza. I wish it was different. I wish there wasn't a different way to take care of it, but unfortunately, I don't see another way. But I'm not a politician. I'm not a military man, and I told you I'm here to share my story. And I rather not to speak about politics, but there was a question. I've gave you my best answer as well. So I see that people are saying thank yous and goodbye, and thank you very much, guys, for being here and hearing my story and caring for what is happening in Israel. And I'm handing it back to you, Adam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amit, to you and to your family. We hope and pray that every hostage gets sent immediately home. And I'll just tell everyone, I have Amit's email, I have his cell number. We all have the GoFundMe page. And again, Amit, thank you so much for your time, for your honesty, and for your courage.